Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Friday, June 14th, 2024. It is the day of Venus. We have a waxing gibbous moon. We are in Gemini season, the Celtic tree month of oak, deer season, and Pluto retrograde. Now for details, the sun is Gemini mutable air, representing communication. The moon begins the day in second quarter Virgo, mutable earth, representing meticulousness. Then at 12:54 p.m. Central Time, it goes void of course. And then at 1:12 p.m. Central Time, it enters second quarter Libra, cardinal air sign, representing courtesy. So we're going to see a little bit of a shift of people's emotional and perhaps even their communication styles today. Mercury remains in Gemini, mutable air, representing insight. Venus is in Gemini, mutable air, representing the spendthrift. Mars is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing purpose. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, representing questing. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing nostalgia. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing renovation. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, representing imagination. Pluto is retrograding Aquarius, fixed air, meaning that we need to examine intentions, not emotions, although I suppose that will also play a role. But also, we need to remember the Pluto retrograde mantra of reflect, heal, and evolve. So, our moon phase, because we are now waxing gibbous, we are moving out of the brainstorming, creative planning phase, and we are going straight into cultivating those intentions, the ones we set at the new moon, the ones that we've also been continuing to work on up until this point. Now it's time to start doing the work to start bringing them about for manifestation. Now, as we are in a Libra moon, some of your do's are socialize, network, look for solutions. Some don'ts are manipulate, do not manipulate other people, and do not allow others to manipulate you. Don't get lost in emotionalism or romanticism. The Libra moon doesn't like it. So, as it is the day of Venus, we know that Venus is continuing to float around dreamily in Gemini, and that means that the inclination to ignore financial issues is continuing on. However, spending money, I think it's important for us to remember that does not genuinely move the heart. You know, sometimes people are like, "Oh, yes, I'm going to pretend like I like you because you spent money on me." Yeah, that's called lying, and it's a very close, thing to, well, something untoward and unladylike. It's a close cousin of whoring. If you are willing to exchange your romantic favor, shall we say, in exchange for material benefit, then I see no difference between that and actual prostitution. So, if the people who are insulting others for saying that their affections are motivated out of financial considerations, particularly women are being subjected to that accusation. It is dishonoring and it is also not true. That is not what actually moves the heart. And the sooner our society abandons that idea, the better off we will be. Also, I think doing some examination and meditation, if we have actually absorbed that belief that affection can be purchased in any way, I think that would really help us to start to deprogram, because it's like a poison. You see it especially on social media and amongst people who, quite frankly, those who are unpartnered, I hope they never find a partner if they are in their current state of mind, and the ones who are partnered, my sympathies to them. I sincerely hope they haven't absorbed that nasty belief themselves, and I wish them an early and relatively painless escape. This is something that really needs to be addressed and corrected. But moving on, our tarot of today is the Celtic Owl, and it stands in the position of the Hanged Man in the Major Arcana, and it symbolizes rebirth. So if you are looking for renewal or rebirth or a change of something, that is also going to require a change of perspective and oftentimes a sacrifice of some sort, perhaps a sacrifice of time. Instead of devoting your energies towards something that isn't really fruitful or productive, maybe you need to redirect that to something that will help you learn, that will help you advance, and something that will get you out of whatever rut you happen to be stuck on. Next up, our Celtic triad for the day. It reads, three for whom when they are alive only hatred is seen, and praise when they are dead. So that's irritating. Hatred while you're alive, praise when you're dead. But let's go on. The peaceful, wise person, the truthful teacher, and the sincere friend who rebukes. I was reminded of the Claire Booth Luce quote that states, "No good deed goes unpunished." And for my fellow Star Trek nerds, particularly those who also enjoyed Deep Space Nine back in the day, that was actually borrowed as being one of the Ferengi rules of acquisition. No good deed goes unpunished, ever. However, it is virtuous, and it shows strength of character to actually speak the truth, regardless of how it is received. And the question is, if we are on the end of receiving perhaps some home truths that we weren't necessarily looking for, are we willing to accept that as a gift? And are we willing to appreciate the people who are doing that? Because the universe has assigned them a rather thankless job, and anything that we can do to ease that, especially since the people who do this, they are genuinely motivated out of love. The wise who are desiring peace, it's because they understand the cost of active conflict, and they see that the sooner you get that taken care of, the sooner it is actually resolved, the better off you'll be, rather than allowing it to escalate and to create a truly tragic situation. And then truthful teachers. A lot of teachers these days have been fired from their jobs for speaking truth, while as the ones who are indoctrinating children and who are telling all sorts of lies, and they're just interested in getting personal affirmation for themselves, they are not getting the pushback that they should. Now, the seeds for that are beginning to be sown, and I think we will see the pendulum swing in the not too distant future. But what about the people who did not buy into this ideology? What about people who said, "My job is to teach them how to read, how to write, how to do math, how to analyze literature. And my duty was to teach them about how our society functions and works." The people who are actually doing their job, where is their recompense? And are we in a position to at least give them acknowledgement for doing the proper thing, even though it came at great cost? And then what about friends who rebuke, who said, "That was not brilliant," or "I can't believe you did that thing. That was so out of character for you," or someone who's just more or less saying something that we have fallen short of a standard, a standard that we might give lip service to, but that we didn't actually perform, or we did something that just, no matter what your personal standards are, it was just bad. It was not well done. It was just not a good thing to be doing, just in general. How do we treat the person who actually brings that to our attention and who doesn't let us get away with that? People talk about accountability all the time, but when it comes time for their own personal accountability, funny how they're not interested in taking that. So this is something for us to really take to heart and to do a lot of thinking upon, because if we are able to take things that are well intentioned and that actually are based in truth, even if we don't like it, that benefits us. And by not punishing the person delivering the message, that enables them to continue fulfilling the role that, the gods gave them. Now, today's magical intention is honor. The color for that is rose. I found a very dark rendition of rose, almost red, but still within the rosy tones, I think. The plant is the apple, the animal's the raven, and the crystal is the pearl. And I wanted to focus on this intention today because we actually are in a position to do something about the honor deficit in our culture. We can conduct ourselves honorably as well. That means we have to have a defined personal code that we hold ourselves to. But it begins with us, and then it involves acting upon it. And not just talking about these virtues, but doing the very best we can to exemplify them. And then, of course, magically making use of these correspondences or other correspondences that also relate to the concept of honor, and using them in our spell work, using them in our ritual, putting that I want to say pressure out into the ether, to where when people are doing wrong, when they are being dishonorable, to where they're feeling more and more of a prick of their conscience of just, no, that isn't right. I shouldn't be doing that. I don't feel at ease. When people are not able to ignore their own conscience, they eventually do make the appropriate corrections. And by sending out this intention to restore honor, that can be that useful pressure. It isn't even directed at anyone in particular. It's just telling the universe, I'm putting this out here. You put it where it needs to go, where it can do the most good. And over time, we can be part of the efforts to create a more honorable society. Now, for our pagan practice, it's Friday, so that means honoring a love deity, working on our third eye chakra, and learning something new about our Venus sign. This is also a good day to bring some flowers into the house. There's something about bringing flowers or a new potted plant that just lifts the atmosphere. So if you're in a position to do that, definitely consider that. And If you have pictures, things that perhaps needed to be scrapbooked or whatever else, this would be a good day to work on that a little bit, because it is important that we do keep these mementos. It helps keep family memories alive, and of course, after we're gone, it allows the people who come after us to get a glimpse of who we were, what we were like, at least what we looked like, and that's not nothing. All right, and today's journal prompt: what are your summer daydreams? Summer, as a season, it's a very daydreaming season, in my opinion. Certainly, I daydreamed a lot when I was a child, and I was a very creative time. I was always writing, or I was coloring, or I was building something. It was all about just getting lost in this thought, and then trying to make something out in the real world. So, what are those summer daydreams for you? And then maybe once you define them, you'll say, maybe I can work in that project, or maybe I can go visit this place, or whatever it is that you have on your heart. By writing it down and articulate it, it does bring you much more closer to a state of actually doing something about it. So that's what I have for you guys today. Come back tomorrow for the next edition, and I will see you later. Bye.